My name is Kwabena Chenchen. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. We should not run the security of Ghana on the back of prophecies. Now, that's the word of the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, Reverend Dr. Kwabena Frimpong, in a reaction to a prophecy by popular Nigerian pastor T.B. Joshua on an imminent attack on Ghana and Nigeria in the month of April. According to Dr. Frimpong, the country's security agencies should remain calm and not make hasty decisions merely on the basis of a prophecy by a man of God. He's been speaking to my colleague Mamavio Usoboaji.
One of the gifts that God has given to the church that we must cherish is the gift of prophecy. However, I must quickly say that even before we receive prophecies, our security in this country, leaders, those who are in charge, have given a sign of security alert to this country. Recently, they've given us even streets that people must be careful how to drive. And again, having said that, even the recent phenomenon, what has happened in Ivory Coast and other places, quickly also suggests to us that we as a people must be mindful and maybe more intense about security. But let me say quickly and strongly that we should not run the security of this country on the back of prophecies. Our people must be professionals and do what they have been trained to do. Prophecy is for the church and its members, so we must pray, seek the face of God. But the real security aspect of this country, those who are in charge, must be up and doing.
Are you saying that prayer cannot reverse this threat?
You know, prayer must do what prayer is supposed to do, and human action must do what human action is supposed to do. What do I mean? For instance, we know it's unfortunate, but it's the reality of our time that now you have people who want to go to where people have rally, you know, hotels, churches, mosques, and do some of these things, blow themselves up. It's all over, even the advanced countries. But because of this new challenge, now people are improving their security system. I just arrived from Kenya over the weekend, and now you drive the highway towards the airport and camera everywhere, every single vehicle. You will be in camera. Now, I've been to Kenya how many times? By my recent visit, around the airport, everything has changed. The real security, and everybody, you park your car and you walk through and they check everything, you know. Now you come to our country and now on our roads, yes, I have security police people all over in the name of security alert. But I ask myself, what has changed? They did that in Kenya recently. Al-Shabaab stopped a bus and I asked everybody, come down. They did, wanted to separate Christians from Muslims. And they said, no, we were Kenyans first before becoming Christian Muslims. Now, we need to activate that publicly Christian Muslim leaders are going around. And that is the social side of security, social side of protection. Now, government must be part of this process, either through National Peace Council or somebody must consciously know that if you have security alert, we don't work only with military, police, but even civil society, traditional leaders, religious leaders. We did that during Ebola. They brought all of us together. That is the role you can play. Now, during security alert, what is the role of religion?
So what do we do with these prophecies? Because indeed, T.B. Joshua is not the only person who's coming out to say that in this month, and this is a specific prophecy, in this month of April.
One, this should not leave us in fear, unnecessary anxiety. It shouldn't. Like I said earlier on, that before even we heard from our friend in Nigeria, our own people with the analysis, what they know, had placed this country in a higher alert.
Shouldn't the Christian Council, for instance, be organizing a national prayer, fasting and prayer, session for everybody to take part? And let's reverse. After all, the Bible says, God reveals to redeem.
Yes, but if even we want to do that, it's not just because somebody has given prophecy about our security, our national security. We shouldn't. Our national security people must be on top of what they are supposed to do.
Well, Prophet T.B. Joshua is predicting a terrorist attack on Ghana and Nigeria this month. The pastor made the pronouncement during a service this weekend. A video curled from a live sermon on Sunday that aired on the Emmanuel TV channel shows the prophet urging thousands of his synagogue church of all nations congregants to begin sporadic prayers for the two countries in order to scuttle the intended action of the unnamed attackers.
I want us to come together and pray for these two nations, because I'm seeing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if I may say Thursday. Because when you say Thursday, because these evil people, they're very funny. Anything can just happen. You'll be very shocked to see what happened. Because when the prayer is going this direction, they dodge this direction. I see Thursday, Friday, pray for these two nations, Nigeria and Ghana, over gathering in anywhere, over attack. I'm seeing an attack. And that will be in a foreign way. The attack will come, not local way. So please, open your lips and pray for these two nations for protection. Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Because the evil one say, can we go this way? Can we go that way? Anyone that is free, they want to enter. So they pray for protection.
Away from that, and Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Sewatete has revealed letters of recall will be issued to officers who have not updated their accounts since in the next 2 weeks. Now, the minister has been speaking on quite a number of other issues during her tenure at the Public Accounts Committee sitting today. My colleague Matilda Omega is there and is joining me now over the phone lines with a lot more. So, Matilda, Hannah Tete also revealed the AG's office will retrieve over 5,000 euros from a retired consular. I mean, tell us more about that.
Okay, so this was in the Paris mission. That is according to the 2011 report by the Auditor General. And what the concerns they are raising is that over 14,410 euros could not be accounted for. And this is by Ms. Elizabeth Murphy, who is just a consular officer, not a finance officer at the Paris mission. And so during the auditor's report, I realized that these monies could not be accounted for. And this officer in particular, that is Elizabeth Murphy, who is supposed to make these funds available, has so far paid over 9,000 euros to the account of the Foreign Affairs Mission. But the content, because this officer is currently on retirement, they have already begun process to retrieve this money, and this has not yielded any positive result over the last 4 years. So the Foreign Affairs Ministry has now begun the process of using the Attorney General's Department to retrieve this money. So far, 9,276.59 has been paid. There's an outstanding of 5,133.4 euros to be paid. And thus, the Foreign Affairs Ministry is believing that the AG's department will aid it to be able to retrieve this money from the former consular officer, Chenchehine.
Right. Matilda, many thanks for that update. And that was my colleague Matilda from Mega bringing us a lot more. Let's now go live to Parliament and bring you that very feed from the Public Accounts Committee sitting.
Employee of the Assembly. He was an employee and he got sick. So I believe the Assembly should clear this thing. It's been 5 years. They should clear it and allow the person's name to also rest.
But it's not only the Assembly, head of civil service involved, local government services involved.
Yes, but the minister
so why
said
are they also
was,
sitting down?
They addressed to the Assembly to
Let's
pay the
look
money.
at it.
Yes.
We will get to the local government minister will be here. I think we can pick it with him when he comes in course of the 10 days that we are sitting. Thank you very much. We continue. Yes. We're still doing 2011.
Paragraph 1475, please. Value books not accounted for. Yes, the Auditor General says that 26 general counterfoil receipts books of no par value.
I'm sorry. There is still one outstanding on these payments. The You didn't mention anything you have done about it at all. The president's visit to Japan. Some state protocol department, 1,120,000 yen. It's still outstanding what has been cleared by state protocol.
We've written to state protocol, but it's still outstanding.
Shall also treat outstanding just like the GFA. So state protocol will come, but give us a copy of the letter you sent to them.
Okay.
State protocol, the office of the president.
They say state protocol. It's the same thing. State protocol department. Okay. So we continue up right now. We can come.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paragraph 1475. Value books not accounted for. The Auditor General says 26 general counterfoil receipt books of no par value issued to 4 consulates of the Rome Mission, Ankara, Athens, and Istanbul between March 2010 and May 2011 for revenue collection were not accounted for during the audit. Can you please update us on this issue?
Thank you very much. So when this was brought to our attention, we asked the mission to address it, and in the response of the mission, they were able to account for these particular value books from the consulates. So they have been accounted for.
Thank you, Madam. But I just want to find out, during the audits, where were these books?
They were at the, you see, what it was that at the time, we have consulates of the Rome Mission, Milan, which of course is within Italy, Ankara and Istanbul, which was before we established an embassy in Turkey, and then in Athens. And so what happened was all of these were reporting previously to the Rome Mission. And so at the time when the audit was being done, it appeared that they had not accounted for these particular value books. But subsequently, when we had the management letter and wrote to them, their response was that they were able to account for same. Now what has happened is that Ankara and Istanbul, well, now we have an embassy in Ankara, so it's not a consulate anymore. We have also established a consulate in Istanbul, which is Ghana government consulate. We have a foreign service officer there, so to all intents and purposes, it's now the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration that is running Turkey. And this is with regard to the others. These were, if I may, these were honorary consulates who provide consular services on our behalf. And so the revenues that they receive for the consular services have to be accounted for. It is in the process of accounting for those revenues that they were also able to account for the value books that were referred.
Thank you, Madam. Can the auditors please confirm if they are moving forward, everything is fine now and they are able to account for the value books?
Madam Chairman, it has been verified and confirmed.
Can we now move to 2012? What's happening, sir?
I refer you to paragraph 1463. It concerns an unearned salary by one Mr. Y.S.A. Amankwa. And my interest is, how did it happen? How did he manage to take this money illegally?
So the issue was with reference to payment for domestic servants. And so at the time when the audit was being undertaken, the auditors were of the view that the payment that was made on his behalf for his domestic staff were not payments he was entitled to. But the reason why the issue has been cleared is because at his level, at the time he was on posting as a director, you are entitled to, at least that's the advice I'm given, you are entitled to the government paying for your domestic staff. And so therefore it was an error. So it is not properly fall within the context of unearned salary.
Colleagues, let's move to 20.
And that was the Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Sewa Tete responding to some questions at the Public Accounts Committee sitting. And indeed, that sitting is still ongoing as I speak to you. We'll be bringing you a lot more on this a bit later on. But let's now move to the Ashanti region now. And the youth of Agogo Association and the Agogo Worldwide Association are locked up in a meeting with the local council of churches as the youth reveal they will hit the streets tomorrow over the issue of nomadic headsmen. My colleague Oimin Terry has details and is joining me now over the phone lines with a lot more. So, Oimin, this issue of headsmen has been raging for a while now. What is this meeting seeking to do?
Yes, tomorrow, this meeting seeks to, probably this will be the last meeting ahead of a planned demonstration tomorrow to drum home for the need for traditional authorities and security agencies to ensure that nomadic herdsmen, the roadmap to flush them out of Agogo is enforced to the latter. So this meeting, the three-day meeting, as well as other key stakeholders and opinion leaders who matter in this particular issue, don't forget the issue of nomadic herdsmen has been raging for the past 6 years, and farmers, especially here, tells me they should have started planting their crops at this time, because this is the farming season. But unfortunately, because of the presence, the Fulani, nomadic herdsmen, they are unable to do this. Let me get the sense of what will be happening tomorrow from some. Yes, Anyan Kusi, who is a member, representative of the Worldwide Association. So tell me, what is the need for today's meeting?
The meeting today, basically, is to plan carefully the event for tomorrow, which will be the demonstration. We don't want any violence to occur during the demonstration. We have captioned it a peaceful demonstration. So there's a need for us to think through and plan it carefully so that we achieve our objective at the end of the day.
He asked, is it a way to say that the tomorrow events have become necessary because we are occupied with the operations of the military police team that has been part of this Operation Carlec efforts to drive the nomadic herdsmen and their cattle away from Agogo?
The fact of the matter is the nomadic and our objective tomorrow is to express our disappointment against government inability and lack of commitment to really carry out a simple court order. That is the essence of our demonstration tomorrow. A deadline was given jointly by the Traditional Council and the Security Agency, giving them up to March 31st, that they should live very peacefully. And as we recall, we have followed this process, civility, following due process without violence. All that has been our mantra and the way we have been conducting ourselves in this process. So following that, we still want to demonstrate and express our satisfaction and our concern about the continued presence and deception by the security agencies being run by our own government.
But what is the key in this? Because for as much as I am aware, the Operation Carlec team has been here since the team were asked to move here. So why do you accuse government of being, deceptive?
Well, I think they got a team back in 2012, and nothing happened. Okay, and the plan came in that they were bringing a new security force. But our conviction and our hope this time around was because all the security force came here and promised us. But we'll be monitoring the event being carried out by the security agency. All we find is that they have been instructed not to drive most of the cattle here. We have been told. So that's the situation. So there's something going on here, which we are not very certain, and government has a hand in it.
Have you gotten in touch with the traditional authorities? Because I do know that there's there's this. There used to be a March-ending ultimatum to all cattle owners, nomadic herdsmen, to remove their cattle from Agogo. What has been the response from Nananom, and what do they make of tomorrow's event?
Quite frankly, tomorrow's event is going to involve every citizen, everyone resident here in Agartha, including for the first time our chiefs. They are going to join us. All presses of the people in this community will be out on the streets, expressing our dissatisfaction, our continued, the way the Fulanis are conducting themselves, the inability of our farmers to go and farm, particularly during the farming season. The concern again is going to create a big famine. You see, this year and next year. So that's a big concern of the community here. So tomorrow's event is being endorsed by our chiefs and by all.
And that was my colleague Oemin Terry reporting live from the Ashanti region, where we are told that Fulani nomadic herdsmen in Agogo, we are told that youth in the area are planning on a demonstration tomorrow. They're gearing up for that very demonstration tomorrow to flash out nomadic herdsmen in the town. You're still watching News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. We are taking a break. We have a lot more stories for you when we return. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. To some more stories now. On cracks in the Mencia North branch of the New Patriotic Party continue to deepen as polling station and constituency executives threaten chaos if any attempt is made to carry out a National Executive Council directive to rerun all elections there. They accuse the National Executive Council of hypocrisy. The executives have given the NEC a 48-hour ultimatum to produce proof of the concerned judgment cited as the reason to rerun all elections in the constituency. But speaking on News Desk earlier today, Director of Elections for the NPP, Martin Ejamensa, said the party is not seeking to rerun the elections out of its own volition. He says the NPP is only implementing the dictates of a court order. Martin Ejamensa is, however, calling for calm among the constituency and regional executives as the party works towards satisfying all disgruntled members. Let's still stay in the Ashanti region, and residents of Aboabo in that region are asking government, as a matter of urgency, to silt a storm drain in the area to allow the free flow of liquid waste. The drain is currently choked with rubbish and sand, a situation that is impeding the smooth passage of liquid waste. Joy News' Derek Ekosam was in the area and reports residents are feeling the effects of the insanitary conditions and are calling on government to help remedy the situation.
What I'm standing on appears to be hard ground. Yes, it is hard ground, but this is sand that has collected in the biggest drain here at Aboabo in the Ashanti region. What you see around me are sand that has filled up in the gutter. The residents here are unhappy about it.
I'm not happy at all.
Why are you not happy?
I'm not happy because when they collect the sand into the gutter, they have to collect all the sand away.
But you as residents in the area, you also contribute to this. I've seen bottles, empty bottles around the gutter. What are you also as residents? What are you doing about this problem?
We can get a youth and come and collect the rubbish.
Is this something you would do?
Yes. I think
this is a bad situation, and we shudder anytime the clouds gather. The gutter spills anytime it rains heavily and our rooms are flooded. They only come to seal the gutter when they need votes. Residents usually contract cholera and malaria. The sand has been in the gutter for a long time, and even when they collect the sand, it is left right beside the gutter and the wind takes it back into the drain. The sand should be collected from the sides of the gutter so we can have a neat neighborhood. We are not happy about this at all.
Because area say nsuo kakra tokra na ewura manfo fie.
The site is appalling. Residents suffer the most because our houses flood after torrential rains. We need help to collect the sand from the gutter so we can be free. The sand on the sides of the gutter should be collected so it doesn't go back into the drains. Because it is still here, it finds its way back into the gutter anytime it rains. The rubbish you see gathered here were brought from other parts of the city. Our parents spend their savings on us because we usually fall sick as a result of the pungent smell from the gutter. There is little we can do about it as residents because we don't have the equipment to deal with this problem. Government should come to our aid and solve the problem. Beside this gutter is this heap of sand. Residents tell me this was collected from where I stand, from this gutter, to ensure that the liquid waste in here would have access routes and then will go out of this particular gutter. But what I also see is that it's been left uncollected, and you can also see that the sand is gradually sifting back into the gutter, making way for me to stand here, ironically. But the residents say they are not happy about this situation. They are vowed to go to all lengths to ensure that this heap of sand is taken away from this place. They say that as residents, they would also ensure strict adherence to the sanitation laws. They also admit that they have a part to play in ensuring that this thing becomes a thing of the past. And so they would also make sure they comply with all the rules. They would hold their leaders accountable. They are asking government to come to their aid to desilt this gutter. They tell me not too long ago the place was flooded, and they are afraid that should it rain for more than 3 hours in this area, the gutter may be flooded again. For Joy News, Derek Ekosam. Abu Abu.
Meanwhile, a member of parliament for the area, Muntaka Mubarak, has refuted allegations the sand has been left uncollected. He says the sand has been along the sides of the gutter in order to allow for it to be dried up before being collected.
We need to keep in front of our houses. Then government can deal with the bigger storm drains and other areas. But I believe that you saw the storm drain. We've desilted it.
But the sand is...
But yeah, the sand is going in because they keep throwing the garbage in it.
No, but you have sand uncollected just beside the storm drain, which is going back into the...
When you collect the sand, with the water you cannot collect it because it's heavy. You need to dump it at the side for it to dry up a little before you collect. You can see that on one side, all of it have been collected already. It's the other side. It is to wait for it the water to sip. Then it becomes lighter for the cargo to be able to carry it.
So how long is it going to take you to collect that sand from the sides?
He was even here with me. We were talking. Fortunately, we have the French grant that is also going to augment the work that is being done. I don't know whether you saw the excavator that was there. I'm sure that by next week they will start collecting the sand from there.
Time for another break here on News Today. Remember, we still have business, sports, entertainment, as well as international updates, all coming up in the next few minutes here.
Hello again, good afternoon, and thanks for joining me on the business segment. The Tourism Ministry says it is ready to begin licensing and registering tourist sites in the country. This follows a new regulation which mandates it to track all tourist sites to ensure they conform to recommended standards. Director, Procurement and Protocol at the Tourism Ministry, Edwin Usumensa, tells Joy Business the move would greatly help increase revenues accrued from tourism.
Now we are going to register and license all tourist sites. You know, it's in the new Tourism Act, that Act 217. So right now, when we license, it means you must go by certain standards. If you don't meet the standards, then you can't open to the public. So I believe that is one way we can use to get the tourist sites to be up and doing. Apart from that, collaborating, talking to them and so on. It will bring a lot of change because if you can't, let's say your waterfall, people can't visit it because you don't have a visitor center. You'll be forced to build a visitor center. You'll be forced to put up washrooms and so on, yes. Another major strategy is to bring the district assemblies to involve them. That's what we are doing. You know, because every attraction is in a district. And the districts get more money from these attractions than even central government does. So we are trying to get them to also put some of the resources they have into developing those places.
Now, also in business, government says it is seizing the opportunity provided by the campaign to establish startup companies to curb the worsening graduate unemployment in the country. According to the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISA, graduate unemployment stood at about 200,000 as of last year. Speaking at the climax of Total's Startup of the Year contest, Trade Minister Dr. Ekospio Gabra indicated government's commitment to supporting budding entrepreneurs.
With the advent in Ghana and the opening of offices in this country of many of the world-famous IT companies like the IBMs and the Googles and the Intels and the Microsofts, there's going to be a greater interest in the whole business of startup. This is a country where, as we've heard, because of the rapid access to tertiary education by the liberalization of the educational sector and the number of graduates that come out of the universities each year, and the challenge of the economy growing as fast as the graduation rates, we have the unfortunate honor, if you like, of hosting an association of unemployed graduates. Now, this is a particular organization that I am determined to help to come to an early demise. And I think all of us, the earlier we can put an end to this very interesting organization, the better.
And that's all in business for now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for more business news updates. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafe. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my name is Baba Tando. Let's talk sports right here, right now, and we begin with Hearts of Oak, who produced a strong defensive display to pick up a point against Techiman City in their goalless draw played at the Nana Ameyao Park in Techiman. Now, Hearts of Oak, by virtue of that result, stays second on the log, 3 points behind leaders Wa All Stars. And Techiman City also get to keep their unbeaten home record. Now, Hearts of Oak coach Kenichi Yatsuhashi was impressed with his team's display, but was furious when journalists asked him about his will to win the title.
I have no idea what you're talking about because the war game is in the history. Today we didn't score, it doesn't mean that we won't score next one, so we had our chances. I just want to be patient with our strikers. Can you stop that, please? And I believe that we will score our next game.
House of Oak has played 2 games with a point. People are saying that the team's form is dipping. Do you agree with those critics?
Not at all.
So House of Oak can win the league?
Of course. Oh, hold on, wait. I don't want that question again, all right? I didn't say we will win the league. Okay? I never said that. So done, finish. Thank you.
Okay, so we still remain with the Ghana Premier League, and defending champions Ashanti Gold suffered yet another 1-0 home defeat at the Obuasi Linkley Stadium to Dreams FC. Now the Miners returned home after a 5-1 drubbing at the hands of Liberty Professionals, and they only hoped to get their season back on track against Dreams FC in Obuasi, but they were shattered by a late first half strike from former Hearts of Oak midfielder Emmanuel Hayford that went on to prove the difference after the final whistle. Now the results left fans of the Miners livid. Here's General Secretary of the fan base of Ash Gold, Ohene Kusi.
We the Obuasi fans, when things are not going well, we will comment. Bashir Hayford should go. He should go. He should step aside. He and his technical team should all go. This is Ohene Kusi, Supporters General Secretary, and I can assure you that all the supporters are wild. We are not letting the players out today. They should stay in the dressing room with their coach. The match they played here is awful. It is simply appalling. Bashir Hayford approved of it. The players too are not good. Our next match is against New Edibiase. If care is not taken, we won't come and watch that match.
Okay, so the Ash Gold Dreams FC and Techiman City Hearts of Oak games were just 2 of the weekend's 7 fixtures. Let's go through the rest of the results for week 7 of the 2015-2016 Ghana Premier League season. And of course, Inter Allies, we had on on the Joy Sports Arena yesterday. All the goals recorded there. Also on our Twitter handle, of course, tweeting all the goals as and when they came. Inter Allies beating Bashim United by 4-0 at the Tema Park. While All Stars maintained their unbeaten record in the league season so far, beating Ebusua Drops by 1-0 at the Wa Park. Teshiman City, like I told you, they drew goalless with Accra Hearts of Oak. West African Football Academy, Wafa, they drew 1-1 with New Edibiase at their favorite Sogakope Park. And New Edibiase, I must say, they're splendid by getting a draw from that dreaded land where teams always go to suffer defeats. Kotoko beating Liberty Professionals by 3-1. Of course, with that result, it puts Kotoko on the 9th position of the league table, meaning that they are no more in the relegation zone. And of course, the talking points will be as to whether Coach David Duncan should return to Kotoko as head coach, with Michael Osei recording, victories, and not just victories. He's winning by large margins. So let's see how things unfold for the Porcupine Warriors in the coming weeks or in the coming days. Chelsea, they beat Ejana Stars by 1-0 in the Bono Derby. Now, Mediama SC were busy in the in Africa, of course, in the CAF Confederation Cup in faraway Sudan against Al Ali Shendi. So their fixture against Sekendi Hazakes has been fixed later this week for Wednesday. Okay.
So that's how we wrap up on news today this afternoon on your Joy News channel here on Multi TV. My name is Kwabena Chenche Heneboating. Remember, there's a lot more news when you always visit www.myjoyonline.com. The marketplace is up next. Many thanks for your company.